Good morning. Good morning from Sydney, Australia. I am back in my office, back at my desk. After a couple of days, a couple of wonderful days spent up in Queensland's Gold Coast of Australia. You know, it's called the Gold Coast for a reason. Golden sands, amazing vistas, and quite frankly, a lovely couple of days spent looking at the ocean. I didn't actually get into the ocean. I have to be honest. Mahi was swimming pretty much 2 or 3 times a day, but me myself, I'm not the most competent swimmer. So I know my limitations and a couple of near death experiences as a young child. I'm a little bit standoffish when it comes to waves, and so I know my limits, and I'm very content with them, and I don't like to push them. So I just admired the ocean from afar, from up in my hotel, watching the beautiful waves break onto the golden sands. It was really a very special couple of days. Got to see family, got to see old friends, a couple of different old friends, and just kind of had a beautiful time away, a very necessary time away. So good morning, Stephanie, and good morning to LJ as well. Hope you ladies are doing great this morning. So we are talking about blood glucose control today, and that is going to be the main little topic for my little TED talk for the morning. We're going to be talking a lot about blood glucose control, and is it the secret to weight loss? It's a really important question, believe it or not, because often, the reason why I'm talking about blood glucose control today is due to the fact that over the last since probably Friday last week, I have done quite a few one-on-one nutritional sessions. We had a special running for the week, and I was taking on new bookings for one-on-one specials, for one-on-one nutritional sessions. So they were less than half price what they would normally be. So quite a few people have booked in, and I've been meeting people I've never ever met online before. Now I've been doing these nutritional sessions pretty much for since I become a nutritionist. So I've done well over 1,000 of them now. So there's 1,000 hours of chatting with people up here, and sometimes I do someone once, other times, there's this one person that I've been mentoring and coaching for well over 2 years. So we get together at least once a month and have a bit of a chat. So I've met all these new people, and it's been really fascinating. And majority of them have come through via Boost Camp, because of course we have a brand new Boost Camp that just started on Monday. So we're day 4 into week 1 of our February Boost Camp, and it is an anti-inflammatory Boost Camp. So lots of new people on Boost Camp and lots of first timers coming to me for nutritional sessions. It's been fabulous. I've learned so much, and what I'm really hoping is that they've learned a lot as well. So one of the things that has really became quite evident within the first couple of sessions with people that were relatively new to Boost Camp, relatively new to the BHK, principles, the way that we kind of slice and dice our weight loss and health journey, so to speak, there was quite a knowledge gap when it came to how blood glucose works in your body, and how understanding and being in control of your blood glucose levels can be so incredibly beneficial for your weight loss, your weight maintenance. So it's going to help you to lose weight. It's going to ensure that you maintain that weight loss. But there's this other side of blood glucose control, which we're going to talk about today as well, which is the incredible health benefits of blood glucose control. So that is the conversation for today. Now, I've just realized I was going to go live on TikTok at the same time, and I forgot to do it. I've just got my phone in front of me. I'm going to do it now. So while I do that, I'm going to say a good morning to Mia. How are you, my love? I can see Mia and Heather and Helen, Ada as well. Michelle is there. We can see Christine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm just putting in 1 second, guys. I'm going to change this. Yeah. Is blood glucose control the secret to weight loss? Doesn't fit. I've only got a very small title that I can put into TikTok. I'm learning something every day, and it's only 32 characters, so it's got to be short. What is blood glucose? How that works. All right, I'm going to go live on TikTok too. Okay, here we go. Why not? Why shouldn't we do these types of things, right? Okay, here we go. Oh. Okay, so who else was saying good morning to? I can see Julia and Monica. Monica's saying good morning from Adelaide. Good morning to you, Monica. I can see the beautiful Debbie there as well. And Debbie's saying, yay, I have hit a live today. Hello, lovely lady. Oh, Debbie, I know who you are looking at your name. You're the lucky winner, aren't you, of our absolutely fabulous 5-star trip to Sydney. Have you been contacted by our team yet? Please let me know, because I'm going to chase them up, of course. I'm going to chase them up as we do. But please let me know if you haven't heard from them yet, because I want to make sure that we get you here ASAP, because we are organizing a bit of a book launch in Sydney, and I would absolutely love you to be part of that book launch in Sydney. If we can get you there, that would be fantastic. So good morning to Debbie and good morning to Robin. It was so nice chatting with you over in the last couple of days, Robin. Robin was one of the wonderful people I got to connect with. It's not our first time, is it, Robin, doing a session together? I can see Sandra and Coral as well. Gayleen, Linda is joining us. Helen is joining us as well. We've got Rebecca Buckland joining us on YouTube. Hello, Rebecca. Very nice to have you on board. And also I can see Linda as well, who's joining us, and Janine. So hello to everyone joining us live. And even if you're watching this on the replay, hello. And I'm going to go live on TikTok now just because we can. So here we go. So yeah, we are talking all about blood glucose control today, and whether blood glucose control is the secret to weight loss or weight maintenance. But not just weight loss and weight maintenance, but how it connects to health as well. Because one of the things that we all need to be really, really aware of is that weight loss and being at the right weight for your body is a side effect of good health. And understanding that connection when it comes to health. And hello to the chat. Hello to the chat on TikTok as well. Hello to the chat. Understanding that connection between health, weight loss, weight maintenance, and how our blood glucose impacts all these types of things. It's a really fascinating topic. Really, really fascinating topic, because I didn't know anything about it. Like, I had no idea that, every time I ate food, that food was then converted into glucose. Now, glucose, aka sugar, so another name for glucose is sugar. So glucose or sugar is what everything you eat gets converted into, whether you're eating a steak, whether you're eating a piece of broccoli, whether you're eating a muffin or a sugary donut, whether you're eating chocolate, lollies, spinach, mushrooms, every single thing that you eat. And hey to the chat. Hello to the chat on TikTok as well. I can see you guys all joining in. It's good to have you guys there. Don't forget, double tap the screen, send me some hearts. You guys on the other apps, on the blue app and the red app, you can send me hearts too, by the way. Let me know that you're enjoying this conversation that we're having this morning. So as I was saying, everything you eat gets converted in the body into glucose, which is also another word for sugar. So your body then uses the glucose from all the food that you've eaten, all that conversion that's happened. Your body then uses that glucose for energy. So in essence, if we break it down to its very simple, most fundamental, pieces, food equals energy. We eat food so our body can have energy. Food's also a lot more than that, but yes, one of the components of food is to give your body energy to get you through your day. And I don't just mean energy so you can go and run a marathon. I'm just talking about energy to keep your brain working, to keep your lungs inhaling and exhaling, to keep all of your processes, all of your metabolic and digestive processes going on in your body. Basically, it keeps you alive. It also keeps your muscles moving. And so it's really important. We've got to have glucose. We've got to have energy from glucose just to live. So it's a really important part of what food is. I mean, food is also nutrition, right? Food gives our body all the nutrients it needs to keep us healthy. Food is also medicine. So food is healing as well. And food for me is also love. Like food is the very fundamentals of what I enjoy doing for the people that I care about. So food for me is also a form or measurement of love. And if I feed you, I love you. Know that if you come to my house and I feed you, I love you. Or if I come to where you are and I bring treats, I love you. Because food is love. So food is many things, but if we're talking about it from purely a glucose point of view, food is energy. And here's the really important part of that. If everything that you eat, everything, remember this. Remember whether it's a piece of broccoli, whether it's a radish, or whether it's a chocolate covered donut, your body will convert that food into glucose. Now, depending on what you're eating, whether it's that piece of broccoli down this end of the scale, or whether it's that chocolate covered donut up that end of the scale, depending on what you're eating will determine how much glucose has been converted, how much glucose you now have floating around in your blood, hence the term blood glucose, right? So when you eat a piece of broccoli, you will get a very gentle and very slight glucose increase because there's not a lot of sugary, starchy, glucose forming components in a piece of broccoli. There's lots of nutrients, there's lots of fiber, but there's not a lot of things that can create glucose. So you're going to get a very gradual little spike. Hardly anything. It probably wouldn't even read in your body if you just sat down and had, a couple of handfuls of broccoli, cooked or raw. Now, if you were to eat that chocolate covered donut, which is literally on the opposite end of the scale, right? And you eat that chocolate covered donut down there, you're going to get a lot more glucose flooding into your blood compared with that piece of broccoli. In fact, that chocolate covered donut is going to give you a glucose spike. So you're going to go from sort of your baseline, which is down here, and you're going to spike up like this. And in fact, there's every chance that that chocolate covered donut has now sent you on a sugar high. So you're like on a roller coaster climb. You started here and then you ate that donut and that chocolate and it's deep fried and all the stuff that we know donuts are, and you get this massive blood glucose spike. And in fact, you're sugar high. You are literally on a sugar high. We see it in kids all the time, right? You give kids something sweet and within a couple of minutes, they are running around in circles because they are literally having a sugar rush. This is the term we use for kids, a sugar rush, but please do not think that does not happen in everybody. Everybody gets that. We as adults just are a little bit better at avoiding the actual, the running around like we've just literally consumed a whole lot of sugar, but we still get it internally. So you're on the sugar high. You've had that chocolate covered donut and you've got all this glucose that is now flooding through your blood because that chocolate covered donut creates a lot of glucose. There's a lot of conversion that goes on because it's already full of sugar. Remember, another word for glucose is sugar. It's full of foods in there, usually white flour, so starchy foods, that also create a lot of sugar in the blood, and you're getting a sugar spike or a sugar high. Now, here's the thing when it comes to weight loss, right? Here's the thing. Oh my God, thank you to the chat for all the double taps. Can I just say to the blue app in front of me, yeah, I'm talking to you guys, we've been going live on TikTok only for a couple of minutes, and I already have 7 times more hearts on my TikTok app than I do with you guys here on the Blue app, the ones I'm looking at right now. Don't forget, you can send me hearts. You can pick these guys down there, but they're completely annihilating you at the moment. Thank you for the double tap chat. Thank you. And chat, if you've got any questions, please ask, because I've got questions happening. And if you've got any questions too on in front of me, you guys, Facebook or YouTube, please let me know as well. So where were we going with that glucose? We were going to a place that's not necessarily that good. So we've had that sugary, chocolatey donut. We're now high on sugar. We're having a sugar rush, an internal blood glucose spike. You are now on the sugar roller coaster. So you've gone up sharply like this because you've had something really sweet and sugary, and you're literally on a bit of a buzz. You're having a bit of a high. Like I said, if we'd given that same chocolate donut to a kid, they would just be running around in circles, probably, having a rush. And we're doing it as well. But here's the thing, and this is what we all need to remember. And thank you very much for the, hey, thanks, guys. I see the likes. I see the hearts. I see the care symbols. Thank you very much. So when we are high, this is what we have to remember. What goes up must come down. And what then happens after you go up sharply is you drop down sharply. And this is the rebound from that sugary, starchy food that you've just eaten. Now, our broccoli friend over here, remember, we didn't get a spike. We just got a little and so we're just cruising along at a really good place with our blood sugar. But that donut, my goodness, that donut, that sugary, starchy treat, we're high, we're in a rush, and then we're going to come crashing down. And it's the sugar crash that our body goes, oh, I don't like this. No, I don't like this. No, no, don't feel good. Anytime you have a crash, whether it's a hormonal crash, whether it's a blood glucose crash, anytime we attach the word crash to something that happens metabolically in our body, it's not good. Crashing is not good. Crashing means we're coming down off that high. And what will often happen when you come down sharp after a sharp rise and you come down sharply and you have that crash down, normally takes about 2 hours from consuming that donut. You go high, you sit up there for a while, and then you come crashing down within about 2 hours of eating that sugary, starchy snack. And it's that rebound down. And let's say you started here before you had that sugar, and then you went high from there. And then you went high like this. You guys watching? Like you hit the peak of the mountain, and then you've come literally tumbling down the mountain. You don't go tumbling back to where you started. You actually tend to go below where you started. So you actually go hypoglycemic. You go lower. And it's when you have that crash and you go below that baseline you started off, you start to feel hungry. You start to feel hangry. That's what hangry is. Hangry is a response from a sugar high down to a sugar crash. And remember this, everything that you eat, everything that you consume gets converted into glucose. How much glucose depends on what that thing is that you've just eaten. And yes, if you've just eaten something sugary and sweet and full of starch and full of white flour or full of rice, potatoes, potato chips, crackers, muffins, things from drive-throughs. If you've just consumed this, you've got a massive glucose spike, which will result in a massive glucose crash. So if you've ever had a meal, let's just take the obvious here. You've had a meal, you stopped at the drive-through. I heard the statistic yesterday about drive-throughs, and it kind of freaked me out. So the big golden arches, right? You guys know what that is. And this is what they were talking about. It was a documentary we were listening to. And it was about the golden arches and how sales are broken down. 70% of sales through the golden arches, that drive-through fast food restaurant. It's not really a restaurant. That's just that place where people get some type of fuel. 70% of their customers come through the drive-through. 70%. do not get out of their cars. They eat in their cars. They keep on driving and they're on their way. 70%, which kind of freaked me out actually when I heard that was how much people use drive-throughs. But anyway, so you've had that Happy Meal. Happy now. And you're on a bit of a sugar high. And I mean the adult size Happy Meal, right? You're on a bit of a sugar high and then you come crashing down. And, maybe you are driving somewhere and then you've thought to yourself a couple hours later, God, I'm hungry again. Oh, that just wasn't enough. That just did not fill me up. That's because you've gotten high and then you've crashed back down. And because you've crashed below your baseline, your body is going, we need something else to bring us back up to balance. Your body's job is to give you balance. When we crash, whether it's hormonal crash, whether it's food crash, whether it's sugar crashing, our body's job is to bring us back up to balance, also known as homeostasis. So the body is very good at wanting to find balance. The body knows I'm now under my baseline. I'm hypoglycemic. I'm hangry. I'm moody. I'm grumpy. If you ever had that feeling where you're like, don't talk to me until I've eaten. And that is that hypoglycemic behavior. And your body's like, I want to find you balance. So you know what the body does to give us balance? The body's so smart. Is the body will then go searching for, or the brain will search for, the next meal that's going to get us high again. So we go looking for more sugar and more starch and more foods that create more of that glucose conversion faster. Because when we eat foods that are really heavy in refined carbohydrates, highly processed, those types of foods, whether they be sugar or starch, and I'm talking about things made from flours, whether it be rice flour, corn flour, normal wheat flour, but things that can very easily get converted into glucose. Those are all the foods, the sugary and the starchy ones and the highly processed ones. If the processing is already at such a high level, your body doesn't have to do any work. Your body can actually break it down really fast and you'll get a very quick new glucose spike. So now you are on the blood glucose roller coaster. You really are. And I've actually, for people watching me here, I've got a little picture to show you. Where are we? This is literally what the roller coaster looks like. Are you ready? There you go. This is the roller coaster. So you see that blue line? I've got a blue line, by the way, guys. It's going like this down the bottom, right? And it's got a little peak and it kind of goes back down and it evens out. And it's quite a nice steady line. Now that blue line is when you eat foods that are low processed, not highly refined carbohydrates, whole foods that you have taken to your kitchen and you've cooked and you've processed basically yourself. So this is that broccoli that you're eating. So you eat a little meal, you get a little bit of a rise, and then it goes back down to normal. And basically you stay stable throughout the day, right? You're not getting these, which is the yellow line, guys, that you can see there, the highs and the lows and the high again and then the low. And basically what you are getting here is the sugar roller coaster. And I'm going to tell you right now, the sugar roller coaster is the place. It's probably the only roller coaster you don't want to be on, unless you don't like roller coasters. I love roller coasters. You don't want to be on the sugar roller coaster. It's not a place where good things happen. In fact, the sugar roller coaster is where you will hold on to fat and inflammation. And if fat loss is part of your health goals for 2025, and you're eating foods that are giving you sugar highs and lows, and then another one, and you're chasing the sugar all day long, fat loss is impossible. Weight loss is completely impossible. It is, and I'm going to say this, and I want you guys to all be so incredibly clear on this. It is impossible to lose weight, aka fat loss, when you've got high blood sugar. It is impossible. Impossible, because your body will always use the glucose floating around in your body as energy before it will ever use the fat you have stored on your body as energy. Weight loss is simply the using up of stored fat, and it gets converted into energy. But if you've got all this glucose floating around your blood, your body never actually has to go into your fat stores. It just uses the glucose, because remember, glucose equals energy. So in order for you to access the stored energy that you have all over your body, aka our fatty bits, our jiggly bits, the bits that we don't want, the spare tire, the big belly, all of that stored energy, that fat we have accumulated, is literally energy waiting to be used, but your body will not use it if you've got lots of glucose floating around in your blood. So it is impossible to lose weight when your glucose is high. So if you're chasing that sugar demon all day long, and you're like, oh, I've had a bit of broccoli with my whatever it is, with my lunch, I'll be fine. That's healthy. And then you finish lunch off with a chocolate bar. You've basically just annihilated any good work that broccoli could ever do. The secret to weight loss is understanding that blood glucose control is such a huge piece of the puzzle. In other words, when your blood glucose is stable, right? So you're eating foods that don't give you a lot of glucose in your blood. It will give you some. It'll give you enough to get you through your day. In fact, it'll give you more than you need. But when your glucose is stable throughout, so it's low throughout the day, and what's a really good glucose reading is anything from 4, if you've ever tested your glucose, to about 7 is good. That's a good glucose range, 4 to 7. If you're constantly hitting resting blood glucose of 8.5, you're pre-diabetic. If you're hitting resting blood glucose of higher than that, you're type 2 diabetic. And for type 2 diabetics and pre-diabetics, they struggle with weight loss because their glucose levels are always high. In order for weight loss happens, we've got to bring that glucose down, and we've got to keep it stable. How do you do that? How do you do that? Because it's the secret to weight loss. How do you do that? You eat whole foods that you take to your kitchen, that you cook from scratch. And you're like, oh, that sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, no, it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you guys. It is work. Do not think that my weight just magically fell off me. It did not happen that way. I put in the work, and the work means that I go shopping and I buy whole foods. I bring those whole foods back to my kitchen, and then I cook them, and then I eat them, and then I share them with my family as well because I love them. This lifestyle is not the convenient lifestyle. But do you know what's even more inconvenient? Let's be really honest here. Let's be really, really honest here. You know what's even more inconvenient than having to get in your kitchen and cook? Being sick is way more inconvenient. Dying prematurely is way more inconvenient. Now, for you guys, I want to show you a picture that I took yesterday or the day before. Oh, Mahe took it. And I want to show you something really important. This is a beautiful image, right? Sorry to TikTok, you can't see this image, but I'll talk you through it so you know what it's all about. All right, so here we have my friend that I knew from school. Now, this was taken literally a couple days ago. And he is, his name is Paula, and he is a part of our BHK community. And a couple months ago, Paula was inconveniently unwell. He was very sick. He came very close to death. In fact, if he did not do something dramatically different in his life, we would not have stood on that balcony on the Gold Coast a couple of days ago and caught up with each other. I haven't seen him since school. I haven't seen him for probably 35 years. I haven't seen him. See him on Facebook. See him in our community. But I haven't seen him for a long time. And Paula was telling me this story, and I'm sure he doesn't mind me sharing it, that when he was rushed off to hospital because he was dying. He was a lot bigger than that photo that I just shared with you guys. He's lost a significant amount of weight in the last couple of months. Like he's lost, I think, close to 50 kilos, 100 pounds in the last couple of months, but he had to because he was literally dying. And he was telling me the story that when he went to the hospital because he was literally dying, he was dying, and the fact that he did not die is an absolute miracle because he was so unwell, he was so unhealthy, that his blood glucose reading was the highest his doctor had ever seen in their entire life. In fact, he became the guy that everyone came in to look at to go, can you believe he didn't die? Because his blood glucose was so high. Like, it is such a crazy, crazy story that he did not lose his life that day. And he has worked tirelessly in the last couple of months to bring that glucose down. He understands how important it is. He understands that those high readings, because of the types of foods and beverages that he was regularly consuming, which meant he had just glucose. He was just made up of glucose floating around in his blood, and it was showing up on all his tests. It was showing up in every single organ, and the doctors were surprised that he had not just passed away, that he had actually made it through the night because of his high glucose reading. So yes, maintaining and managing your blood glucose is really, really important if you want to lose weight. Having a high glucose reading means it's impossible for you to lose weight. You need to bring that glucose down before the weight and the inflammation really begins to kick into overdrive and you begin to notice some results. But the other side of having high glucose is the negative impact it has on other hormonal systems in your body. So we're talking about high insulin, which insulin is a hormone, and insulin is released in response to how much glucose you have floating around in your blood. So the more glucose you have, the more insulin that is released. And insulin is a very dangerous hormone when released in high levels. It's released from the pancreas in response to food that you eat. And if you're eating a lot of garbage, that's what it is. It's just crap. If you're eating a lot of sugar and starch and drive-thrus and processed foods, and you let someone else do the cooking instead of you doing the cooking, and you put all your reliance in, gluten-free bread and keto this and all the stuff that you get from the supermarket that's already done all the work for you, and you're wondering why you're still struggling to lose weight, chances are you've got high blood glucose. But chances are, even more worryingly, is you've got high insulin as well. And when insulin and that hormone insulin that the body naturally produces is being produced at such quantities just to deal with all the glucose that's floating around in your blood, insulin starts to play up. Insulin starts to go rogue. So one of the things that insulin does, because insulin's job is to transport all the glucose around the body. That's its job. So the body goes, hey, there's heaps of glucose, release the insulin. And the pancreas goes, no worries. And it releases the insulin. And then insulin basically, it's like a bus, right? All the glucose passengers hop on, and that goes around the body, and it drops off glucose at the various parts of the body, and the muscles and the liver. And it keeps on dropping it off in all the cells. But, that glucose just keeps on coming. So more insulin is released more and more and more, into the fact that there's so much insulin floating around in your body that your body can no longer regulate it. It literally goes rogue, and you become what is known as insulin resistant. And insulin resistance means your insulin is no longer working for you. It's working against you, because insulin in high levels has been found in most diseases and illnesses that we find throughout the body. Most diseases and illnesses, doctors, scientists are finding high levels of insulin, because insulin is the only hormone that can get into every cell in your body. It can get into every cell in your body. And I mean every cell. Now, here's the thing. High insulin equals high blood glucose equals high insulin. Remember that. That's the connection, right? High blood glucose means high insulin. How do you get high blood glucose? By eating basically the crappy diet that everyone eats these days. Majority of people eat this. So you're going to be putting on weight. You're going to find it impossible to lose weight, or very, 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 very hard to lose weight. But the other thing about these high levels of insulin is because insulin is the only hormone that can get into every cell in the body, we find it to be the most destructive. So the leading cause of premature blindness is insulin resistance. How do you become insulin resistant? High blood glucose. The leading cause of amputations around the world, insulin resistance. How do you get insulin resistance? High blood glucose. How do you get high blood glucose? Our modern, convenient diet. Not that convenient, is it, when you're losing a toe or a leg or a finger or your eyesight? The leading cause of erectile dysfunction. Yes, because insulin gets into the sex hormones as well, the sex glands. The leading cause of erectile dysfunction, insulin resistance. The leading cause of PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, insulin resistance. I'm serious. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, insulin resistance. How do you get insulin resistance? By having lots and lots of glucose always floating around your body. How do you get lots of blood glucose floating around your body? You eat the modern, convenient supermarket, drive-through, box, tin, jar, processed diet. You basically eat the foods that you see in the supermarket, or you live on takeout, right? Insulin resistance is also found in the brain. So we're talking about dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, stroke, premature cognitive decline. Insulin resistance gets into the brain. In fact, they call insulin resistance, or type 2 diabetes, which is basically what it is, they call that dementia type 3 diabetes, because when they've gone into research the brain of people who have passed away from cognitive conditions like Alzheimer's, dementia, they've found high levels of insulin. So even the food that we eat is causing our brains to break down into age. And it's almost, I don't want to say it's frightening, but it is a bit frightening, right? It's a little bit frightening to think that food plays such an important role even in the health of our brain, let alone carrying excessive weight, which means high blood pressure, high cholesterol, right? Heart disease, kidney disease, fatty liver disease, all of these conditions we're talking about, right down to erectile dysfunction, low testosterone rates. All of these conditions we can directly link back to food. Certain cancers that have become so incredibly common now, we can link back to food. So understanding that the role that glucose plays in your body, not just for weight loss, but it's the difference between whether you're going to be pre-diabetic. It is the difference between whether you're going to be type 2 diabetic. And it's the difference between whether you're going to be type 3 diabetic, which is premature cognitive decline. Consider how important this blood glucose control conversation actually is. Consider that importance, because if we don't really start to seriously take care of the way we eat, we are all at risk of these conditions. And I just went quickly through some of them. I haven't even talked about anxiety, mental health conditions, whether we're catching every disease, flu, bug, virus that's going around or not. So I'm talking about your immune system. I'm talking about your ability to just mood regulate, to manage moods and not fly off the handle. I'm talking about your ability to smile more, whether you have depression or not. I'm talking about so much more. I'm even talking about how the developing fetus grows inside of its mum. Because insulin, high levels of insulin, can also go through the placenta into the developing fetus and especially into the brain of the developing child. And so we're also talking about children who are born insulin resistant. Yes, it's happening. It's been happening for years. It's just getting worse. So we're having children who are born insulin resistant. We're having children who are born with cognitive impairment more and more and more regularly. Like, it's not always from insulin resistance, but it's becoming more and more common now. We're having children that are more regularly born with ADHD, with autism conditions, with different types of food intolerances and allergies are becoming more and more common. It's because this insulin, when it's in such high levels, because our blood glucose is always high, it is creating havoc in our bodies. Havoc in our bodies. Now, one of the other conversations I had with my dear friend Paula, he was actually there to he gave me TikTok can see he gave me this tā moko, which is a traditional Maori tattoo. I am Maori, and it wraps right around my wrist, as you guys. Sorry, so I know you guys can't see, but TikTok can see. It starts here. This is my original one, and he started there, as you can see. This is a shark, by the way. Yeah, because he knows how much I love the ocean. So that was a shark, because I'm a shark. This here is actually a canoe. This is my waka going through the water, breaking through the water. This is called the wave crusher, or the ngaru. And so then we move down here. Look at that. That's beautiful. Sorry, guys. I'm just showing TikTok. Can you see that's beautiful? And it goes through there. There's the sharks there. Keeps on going. It's also my mum and my dad. These are our 3 babies there. 1, 2, 3. Chrissy, Coco, and Mace. And then it goes through to here. Now, this is a taniko pattern, which is a very traditional weaving pattern done in my culture, Māori culture. And it is also about my tupuna, or my ancestors that come through there. And then as it's snaking up my arm here, this is this part here. It goes around there. That is my guardian, or my manaya. And you can kind of see, if I stand there, you guys can kind of see the face of it there. So he did this tā moko. Sorry, guys. Here it is. There it is. Can you see? Yeah. That's my guardian there. So he did this, Paula did this tā moko for me as we were chatting and catching up on 35 years of not seeing each other, and reminiscing about old times, and laughing and grieving and crying and being really connected to the mahi, or the work that he was doing on me, and the significance of that work as well. And as we are sitting there and we are talking about, what has transpired when it comes to his health journey as well, and how far he's come, and how much of these diseases and illnesses he can now begin to drive back, right? Because he understands the importance of blood glucose control. And I was just so happy to hear it from him, that he knew this. And for all of us, for every single one of us, in order for us to live long, healthy, happy, strong lives, I mean, physically and mentally strong lives, we have to understand the role that food plays. Food is either your biggest poison, or it's your best medicine. And if you start to look at food as either being, like, for me, some things that people regularly eat, it's not even food. It's like food, like substances, right? It's not even real. It's just, it stopped existing as a food. It's not designed for you. It's not good for you. It doesn't give you any benefits. It just creates these environments in your body where you're more prone to illness, disease, and premature death. And of course, obesity as well. I mean, that comes part and parcel with it. And so talking with Paula was so heartwarming, because the two of us realized that we're on a very similar journey. It looks completely different, but it's very similar. And that journey is to want to be here for a good time and a long time, and to be able to help people along the way, and to help people to experience how good it feels to understand these things. Because once you understand these things, you are in control. So of course, come and join me on Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. Come and join me on our February Boost Camp, which just started. If you really want to kick this into overdrive, if you really want to understand what foods are going to cause blood glucose spikes and what foods are going to cause blood glucose stability, come join us on Boost Camp. It will not do you wrong. In fact, you can only learn and do better, right? I don't look at anything as being failures. There's only lessons that we can take out of everything we do in life. And this is one of those big lessons. This is one of those huge lessons that, understanding how your body actually works and realizing that you have more control and you have more ability to change things than you thought is one of the most powerful places to be. It is literally power. It is literally knowledge and understanding that you have that power and you have that capability and that opportunity to manipulate your body in such a way that you're here for a good time, you're here for a long time, and you're doing it on your terms because your body is conveniently well, not inconveniently sick. So I better head off to my next meeting. I was supposed to chat with you for 10 minutes. It's been 46. That's okay. It was a good chat. I really enjoyed it. So thank you to everyone for joining me today. I've just seen someone from TikTok saying, still have my water, but more pasta with tea, etc. I get scared of going blind. Yeah, Lisa, look, I'd definitely come and see us over at Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. I 100% would. Pasta is going to give you really high blood glucose spikes. It needs to be if you really want to, and here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing, and this is for Lisa. Here's the thing. You can not just manage your type 2 diabetes, you can actually reverse your type 2 diabetes. You don't have to be type 2 diabetic. It is not a life sentence. Because in order to be type 2 diabetic, you've got to have high blood sugar. Once you start eating the right foods, your blood sugars come down, you're no longer type 2 diabetic. That's all it is. It's a blood sugar reading. It's an insulin resistance. We can reverse that with food. Food is either poison or medicine. Food is either healing or harmful. Food is either energy or really bad fuel. When you know what to eat, you are in control. I was pre-diabetic. I'm no longer diabetic now, am I? Of course not. I met a cousin in the Gold Coast. She was type 2 diabetic. She only lost 12 kilos. She only lost 12 kilos. She's no longer diabetic. She told me her blood glucose score, her reading that she's been testing her glucose every day. And I'm like, my darling, you're not type 2 diabetic anymore. That's a normal, healthy reading. As soon as we can bring down that blood glucose and we can stabilize it, you're no longer type 2 diabetic. You're not reliant on medication because you're using nature. You're using food to manage your blood glucose. So for anyone who wants to know, come join us on Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. Just Google it, Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. Google, what's the other one? Bridget's.shop, which is my store where you can find out how you can join us on Boost Camp. We've got a Boost Camp going now. I just teach people how to manage their blood glucose. I teach people how to eat an anti-inflammatory diet. And because I'm a chef, it's delicious. So thank you for joining me. I better get off to my next meeting. I'm going to get in trouble. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I hope you guys have a fabulous day wherever you are in the world. Be well and be safe. And we'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, TikTok. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye, Facebook. Bye-bye, YouTube. Hope you guys had a wonderful day as well. And it's been lovely spending a bit of time with you guys. Come see us on Boost Camp. It's not too late. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.